Dr. A.K. Srivastav, alumnus of Banaras Hindu University, is currently perched as Principal Scientist, Soil Science, at Central Citrus Research Institute, Nagpur, under Indian Council of Agriculture Research. He is recipient of several awards: Rana Day Award for Excellence in Micronutrient Research, International Plant Nutrition Award, Best Citrus Scientist Award, and the list goes on. He has delivered more than 100 invited talks at various national and international platforms. Besides 161 research papers, he has authored 50 policy review papers. His live lectures on hot topics keep going on through Facebook, etc. He is fellow of 10 professional academic societies and life member of 33. He is citrus expert to Asian countries, and recently he has been to Israel and Wuhan for keynote address, the same Wuhan. I now invite you, Professor Dr. Srivastav, to kindly come and give your lecture. Dr. Srivastav.
Sir, top row, fourth icon.
Okay, now the screen is visible to you?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Shall I proceed?
Yes, please.
Okay. Thank you so much, Professor Vanchal. This has been a quite an interesting story, listening for nearly 2 hours. Let me first congratulate all of you for organizing International Light Day today. And this is indeed a good learning for me, also coming from a different discipline. Well, friends, we've been talking all about the physics and the intervention of light in the various aspects of day-to-day life, but I will be taking you to a different world in the field of agriculture. We have prospered so heavily in agriculture, and we are now a self-reliant country, and this is somewhere because of the contribution of light, photosynthesis, and all those things. As far as commercial agriculture is concerned, we have a complete expertise in order to harvest the visible range of a spectrum of the light. This is where if you have to look at the tracing the history of light in the intervention of commercial agriculture, there were two landmark breakthroughs, and the first landmark breakthrough was that it was conducted by Charles Darwin somewhere in 1770, and his son Francis. These are the two people. They worked out that whenever there is a source of light, the plant you put in, they tend to bend towards the source of the light. And thereafter, the Fritz Wendt, the scientist, he invented the presence of oxygen, which is one of the reasons for why the plant bent towards the source of the light. So these are the two landmark discoveries, that led the path-breaking story in order to harvest the utility of photosynthesis in commercial agriculture. Nothing to say about the photosynthesis. If oxygen is a primary source to the mankind, the same way the photosynthesis goes to the basics of the plant life. And if the photosynthesis is good enough to a plant, we will be able to harvest to the maximum biomass yield. Now, if you look at the history of the photosynthesis, it goes back to somewhere 1778 when Janner House he was able to discover the chloroplast, which is the basic primary material of the photosynthesis, and the product was the chloroplast, which was made of the nutrients like calcium, magnesium, porphyrin, ring of iron, phosphorus. All those nutrients, that they frame the basics of plant life. And how do these nutrients they express themselves? These variations of nutrients, these are nothing but the various expressions of photosynthesis, and that's how you identify different morphological characters. Right now, our art is to identify them using the destructive methods of analysis. But now, with the intervention of the non-destructive means like laser beam dynamics, the spectroscopic methods, and all those things, they have really paved the way for the commercial agriculture. Every now and then, either in India or wherever, you keep listening about the various kinds of nutrient deficiencies, and that's how your agriculture is adversely affected, and that's how the nutrient load of the crop is affected because of the these multiple nutrient deficiencies. Now, what we have been doing it, as I said earlier in my preceding slide, that we have not been able to make much breakthrough in order to identify the nutrients without coming in contact of the plants. So what we have been able to do is using certain spectroscopic methods, using certain laser beam operations, coming into the contact of the plant, we are able to identify the nutrient constants. What we call it usually as a proximal sensing of nutrition disorder. This is again a very breakthrough. And
Dr.
then,
Dr. Srivastav,
yeah,
could you please speak a little louder?
okay. I thought it is audible, otherwise you should have. Anyway,
Huh.
so what? Now it's okay.
Yes, now it's
Okay. So what we have been doing it, friends, that many of the perennial fruit crops, they have a carbon sequestration ability far higher than even the perennial your forest system. This is where it is what it is. The carbon sequestration, it is nothing but the photosynthesis minus respiration, what you call as the net primary productivity. And net primary productivity of many of these perennial fruit crops, it is far more than many of the green forests. And this is what it is nothing but the magic of the photosynthesis in giving the carbon sequestration of those fruit crops. Now, while disseminating these carbon sequestration, we have got three types of major plants like C4 plant, C3 plant, and CAM plant, cathepsin acid metabolism. Now, many of these C4 plants, they are considered like wheat and rice. They are considered to be very prominent in terms of the photosynthetic efficiency, in terms of the carbon fixation ability, in terms of the nitrogen fixation ability, in terms of the water use efficiency. So that's why we keep saying, let us try not to incorporate those C4 traits into a crop like paddy and wheat, which happens to be C3 plants. So like now, the intervention of various omics technology, we are able to do that. But this is where again the photosynthesis plays a very important role as far as C4 versus C3 plant is concerned. Now, whatever we talked just now about the plants, let us come to the soil. We have got different kinds of microbial communities which are operational in the soil to put the various kinds of soil fertility dynamics. And this is where what we were able to do it, what we call the rhizosphere hybridization and nutrient dynamics. We were able to bioprospect various kinds of rhizosphere nutrients, and then we were able to get out of a microbial consortium material, see this kind of microbial consortium, and when we put it into the soil, it is nothing but the intervention of the light. You can see there's a much better photosynthesis of these plants once you inoculate these microbial consortium with these plants. Now, we have taken this research to another level. In our own laboratory, we are able to produce these kinds of microbial pellets. Now, gone are those days when you have to carry the tons and tons of the fertilizers to the field. Now, we are able to produce this kind of microbial tablets like what you take, like kerosene tablets, paracetamol tablets in your day-to-day life. Like that, the time is coming up when we will be using these tablets of macros into the soil. Just put maybe two tablets, 4 tablets into each of those plants in order to trigger those. But our major constraint is that
Professor
photooxidation.
Srivastav, could you please change your slide? The slide is not changing.
Slide is changing.
No, sir, we are not able to. You please enable the slideshow.
No,
Sir,
are you
press F5.
F5. F5.
now? Are you able to see now?
No, it is not changing. We are seeing, but it is the first slide only.
Oh my God! I have already gone through nearly 10 slides.
नो मैटर, कोई बात नहीं, आप 11वें पे आ जाइए.
How come?
फिर से स्टार्ट कर दीजिए सेकंड से, स्लाइड्स तो हम लोग देख लें एंड यू जस्ट फिर स्टार्ट टॉकिंग फ्रॉम द 11th slide. Yes, now it has changed. Now changing.
Okay,
Yes.
Let me run through these slides.
Okay.
Now it's audible. Now you can see these slides.
Yes, light spectrum.
Okay, this is what I have been saying, that we are able to harvest the best out of these visible range of a spectrum as far as the commercial utilization of photosynthesis is concerned and the commercial agriculture. This is the one slide. Is it changing now?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay. So there were two landmark breakthroughs. The Charles Darwin, who said that why a plant bends towards the source of the light, and it bends towards the source of light because of the presence of the oxygen. These are the two landmark victories. Once the discovery of photosynthesis by Lagnus was made in 1770. Now the photosynthesis, what we have been saying, that what some two billion years ago the cyanobacteria on the land used to do it, today the chlorophyll and the chloroplast is doing, and the nutrients like phosphorus, the calcium, the iron, the manganese, they constitute the part of the chlorophyll. And once you have got the deficiency of these nutrients into the soil, your photosynthesis is going to be severely affected. And this is how the different kinds of these symptoms you notice because of the presence of the various kinds of nutrient deficiencies. And once these nutrients are deficient into the soil, they are going to cut down the carrying capacity of the soil. They are going to reduce down the nutrient density of those fruit crop. And this is where the entire food security, the nutrition security comes into a complete jeopardy once you have got your soils deficient of these nutrients. This is what we have been listening every now and then, either in India or abroad. We keep listening about the various kinds of nutrient deficiencies which are going on, and this is how the nutrition quality of the fruit crops are going on. This is how the nutrition quality of those annual and perennial fruit crops, they are going down year after year. And this is what we have been saying. The current state of art is that we have not been able to diagnose the nutrient constraints unless until we pluck those leaves and those plant parts and then analyze them. So what we are able to do is, with the laser dynamics, we have been able to, and the combination with the spectral analysis, we have been able to see the various kinds of spectral analysis, plus the laser beam analysis, through which we can do the proximal sensing of those nutrients. And now what we have been saying, that in various kinds of your perennial food crops, carbon, what is carbon sequestration ability? It is nothing but the net primary productivity minus the photo respiration, what we call the net primary productivity of many of the perennial food crops. They are much higher than the annual crops. And this is where the magic of the photosynthesis lies. When we take into the account the kind of carbon sequestration by these food crops, we keep talking, these climate change by doing the offset of carbon from the atmosphere is somewhere the C4 plants, like your paddy, your wheat crops, they are C4 plants, and most of the fruit crops, most of the perennial crops, they are C3 in nature. So that's why what we are doing right now, we are trying to do with the C4 plants. Let us put the C4 characters into the C3 plants with the introduction of many of the omics technology, and with that technology we are able to do it. So far we have been listening about the plants. Now we are talking about the soil, which is nothing but you have got many of the invisible drivers of those microbial communities, and those microbial communities, they are able to trigger off the plant response via the photosynthesis. So more is the photoresponsive macros, better is the crop response. So what we have been able to do is we are able to identify these consortium of these macros, and these macros are very photoresponsive, and because of the photoresponsive of these plants, the root configuration is very good and the plant performance is very good. Now we have developed this kind of macrobial tablets. Instead of taking tons and tons of fertilizers into the field, the time has come that you don't have to carry the tons and tons of the fertilizers into the field, and just put these tablets into those plants, what we call the macrobial consortium tablets. And the only constraint that we have, we are still seeing that whether or not they are resistant to photooxidation, which happens to be a very important hurdle in developing these microbial consortium tablets on a long way. Now, these microbial consortiums, they are able to offset carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. This is another dimension of that. Now, the another part is that there's a huge range of mulches we have been using in our agriculture. Various kinds of mulches. We have a red mulches, we have a yellow mulches, the green mulches, white mulches, black mulches. But we have been able to see that, like for example, the cabbage, the red mulches is quite good. Likewise, the different crops, they have a different affinity with respect to the different types of those mulches. But still, the green mulches, they are considered still to be very neutral, for the simple reason that because of those things, we are still having the greenhouses made of green color. Now, this is another dimension, whether you take a natural light or you take artificial light. Now, this is another experiment which was done in artificial light using LED light. Now, in LED light, even you can see there is a much better lycopene production, there is a much better photosynthesis. This lycopene production is what? It is nothing but the translation of photosynthesis. This is another dimension. Gone are days, you know, the land cost is increasing, the land availability is increasing. So what we are able to do it, we are able to use the photosynthetically active radiation by doing a crop canopy management, by doing a various kinds of interception of those lights coming out from the sun energy, and this is how we have been able to do it. And thank you very much. This is what we have been doing in a high density planting. That
Thank you, Dr. Srivastava.
So let me thank the entire Lucknow University for giving me this opportunity to share a field which is not coming from basically from the physics. And thanks a lot for giving this opportunity and giving me a time to share some of very important thoughts. Of course, to justify the lecture. Thank you so much.
Sir, thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. A.K. Srivastava. And I congratulate you firstly for being exactly on time, and we are very enlightened to know about this photosynthetic pathways, the nutrient dynamics, and especially the microbial tablets which you were telling, the pellets. They are very nice thing, and just like micro irrigation, these micro tablets, and many students or participants are they are very enlightened. They are saying, sir, can you send PPT? It's soil based defects. You are only focused, है ना? तो वही